Seven champions already secured the top 8 and will meet the crowd in Wembley. Now, one spot remains and 2 teams still stand. It is down to NIP and MiBR. 2 teams have shown promise already here at the Major, one climbing through the challenger stage, the other looking to go ahead and make an impact, as we know their core have. I'm your host Machine, and I'm joined by 2 beautiful humans who are, of course, the brains behind this operation. We have Sean Gez and we have Chad Spongebird.
He's more like the Brawn. Have you seen this guy?
Dude, honestly, we kind of take our shirts off when we go like. When
I feel ashamed every time. I have to like turn away and like.
Yeah, I'm kind of sitting there. I'm like, I've got like my porridge belly out, and he's sitting there looking like a Grecian god.
Look, boys, I appreciate the compliments.
He walks around the green room shirtless. That's how much he rubs it in everyone's face.
Yeah, he's like, oh, is catering up? He's just like, wow, hey.
If he had,
it's just once or twice.
If he had Instagram, it would look like FNX's. Every second post would just be him with a shirt on.
Anyway, moving away from FNX and into his old teammates, MiBR taking on the Ninjas, and I need to know how close of a call this is. Like, we've been calling different matchups 50-50. Would you say that this one is something similar, or do we have a clear favorite?
I think this one is definitely 50-50, and that's because of the maps. Each team is going to get their pick of a weakness of the opponent, unless there's like some games played in the veto, and then it's going to be a third map decider, right? And I think this one should go the distance. This was the only one of the day I thought that would go the distance, and I'm scared. Because I thought after we'd go through the Challenger stage, the Legend stage, 10 days of this, all these best of ones, all these overtimes, I didn't think we'd come to this.
This is it. This is the last game before the champion stage.
Yeah.
And it's NIP Mouse.
And this is,
excuse me, NIP MiBR.
This is an excellent game. Like Chad said, both of these teams have shown promise, and they've shown that they are capable of making deep runs in this event. So seeing them right here and now, one of them is going home.
Yeah.
Is a little bit eye-opening.
Yeah, we're going to focus our attention first on the Pajama Ninjas, the Swedish roster who've got their new blood mixed with the old, and it's been working, even taking a map off of Astralis. Let's hear from them first.
There isn't any pressure, if you ask me, anymore. It was back in the days and a long time ago, but not really. I think that people are just waiting to us do good and just want us to be successful instead of giving us too much pressure.
I would say that I've been a part of the team for a long time now. I know what the team is capable of. I know what the brand is capable of. Of course, there's a lot of fans I don't want to disappoint, but I don't want to disappoint myself, so we're always striving to be the best, and I think we're on a good route to reach that goal.
We haven't been as good as we are right now, and we're getting better all the time, so the pressure is on them.
Before it was more like, well, you should have won. They are more cheerful and helpful and supporting us more than they did before.
This is a team that there were tears shed when they qualified through the minor. Then they went to the Challenger stage. That was a 3-0. They've managed to make things look good. Wins versus Mouse Sports, Astralis and Vega Squadron so far, of course, between the Challenger and the Legend stage. And this is their toughest task yet. A best of 3 versus MiBR. And what did you make of the words spoken there, Sean, suggesting there's no pressure on their shoulders anymore?
Yeah, I don't know if Chad will agree with this, but it's really refreshing to watch NIP because it looks like they're having fun again. It looked like NIP had been stressed out of their minds for so long. It looked like they hung their heads low on every round, lost. And it looks like they've finally taken that burden off their shoulders.
That's definitely the case. I think, you know, it's good to see Get Right smiling, right? We know he's a hugely emotional player, and to have a smile on his face, Forrest has been a bit of a character for years now. But I think what I've noted the most with these guys in the server is they're just doing the basics well. They're not changing the meta. They're not trying to do any convoluted strategies. They're just doing these default basic strats with a few opening moves and then playing off each other, and individuals are stepping up where they have to. And the one that has, you know, impressed me the most is Lekro, taking over the in-game leadership mantle and still fragging out of his mind in really crucial matchups to get them to this point.
But is that enough? This is an open forum for discussion. Is having a handful of strategies and good individual plays going to get you past MiBR?
I think if you look at the way that MiBR have been approaching their games, it's been a much more rigid Brazilian squad than we've ever seen before. They always seem to come in with a clear game plan, and that yesterday didn't work for them at all. So if it comes in here and they get shut out early, maybe they could find themselves, you know, with a couple of mental flashbacks.
Yeah, I mean, that was quite the loss. I saw Stewie's tweet. He just kind of blinked and he missed it. He couldn't really remember that game, and I'm sure they'll be looking to forget it.
I've been 16-0 twice, and that's definitely the case. You are just completely blown out. You don't even feel like you're in the game at all. I think it's easier to recover from a 16-0 loss than it is from a really close nail-biting game that like is heartbreaking. But the thing is, though, when you start getting 9-0 down, that's when it goes, oh no, not again. When you come into the game, you're not thinking it at all. It's just if you're starting to get blown out in the early stages.
Does that sound about right, Sean?
Yeah, I agree completely. Getting 16-0 isn't as bad as people make it out to be because it's over so quick. You don't show all of your strats, so it's not so bad if you're still in the tournament. If you're in the middle of a best of 3, that's a little bit weird. But yeah, I agree with what Chad said. I would hate to lose in double overtime much more than a 16-0.
And that was MiBR. We're going to hear from them now as we get closer to this elimination match.
So Janko, when he joined, he brings the discipline.
And in game as well, he's like really smart. He thinks the same way as almost the same ways as we think about Counter-Strike, about playing in a team.
The addition of YNK helps us a lot. I think his impact is a lot more impactful than what other people have seen.
By watching so many games for the last years, he has a good understanding of how competitive scene looks like. And I'm kind of impressed. There are rounds when you are playing like the 5th or 6th round of a match and Janko's gonna say, hey, because of that, that's most likely coming up. And then sometimes it's just for me because he's on my side and trying to give me inputs, but sometimes I even tell the team and boom, exactly what he said. People readjust just like he thought they would. So it's kind of interesting to see, and he has a brilliant mind in Counter-Strike, so he's been very helpful inside the game as well.
A lot of credit given to our analyst chum, Janko. Started observing, moved into some analyst work, and now he's analyzing for some of the best in the world. This is quite the story for MiBR.
Yeah, and that's why it's not that they've completely changed their style of play. You still see the aggression out of Third. Fallen's gone back to the AWPing of old. Cold0 is still that anchor player who is supportive, but still one of the best players in the world somehow. But they have more of a game plan. One thing that I noted with the SK and Luminosity eras was they were super good at adapting mid-round. They're able to play off each other and their theory was done. It's if they did A, then we react with B. But not only did they have B, they had C, D, E, F. They had the alphabet of reactions. And that was something that I think, if you can add that with your own, not aggressive, but at least dictating the style version of Counter-Strike, then you have a really good mixture because when you do get put on the back foot, you can react in any occasion.
Yeah, that's something that I think MiBR will have soon. I mean, Stewie and Tarek had flashes of that in Cloud9, actually. They're a very reactive team. So I think they'll gel well with the MiBR players. Right now, I think Fur is struggling a little bit to find where he fits within this team under the new structured environment that Janko has brought. But like I said, I think that's a thing that will come with time.
Yeah, I think when you get a leash put on you and you're normally an aggressive player who can do whatever you want within the realms of the structure, it is harder to find your place because, hey, maybe you are going first in on executes, or maybe you're being told the timings that you need to play at. And when you're an instinctual player, that's normally an unnatural way, and you will be dying a lot more than not. That's just the role of the player who has to go first. That's what Taco used to do for these guys, and they've lost that.
But the bottom line is, since Janko's arrival, we've got more from Fallen. We've got more from the player we know he's capable of being, especially with that AWP. Stewie and Tarek stated in an interview after one of their victories that got them here that they feel like the communication is a moot point at this point. They've kind of solved that issue, and Chad, you've been listening on their comms, you can only echo that.
It sounds great. Their communication sounds bang on. Obviously, they haven't had too many real games that have been tight-knit and super close where they've had to, in the panic moments, have clear communication, but this is the thing with this team. They've either had the highest of highs, like they had some really good first halves of games where they just looked absolutely amazing, and they've had the lowest of lows, having a 16-0 loss. So these guys have shown their peak, I think, and they've also shown how bad it can possibly be.
And testament to that, a 16-4 and a 16-6 victory, and then losing a double-digit lead on the first half to Tai Lu, as well as that 16-0 versus Astralis. They've had high highs and low lows, and we'll bring up that head-to-head while we have a Mo. It is none other than Lecro and Cold0. It's brought to you by The Predator, which is in cinemas now.
Yeah, and this is one of the biggest matchups, actually, of the tournament so far, because Lecro has come up big every single time NIP has taken a map. The 2 maps that NIP have lost at this event, he was the bottom fragger in both of those. So I don't think that's, coincidence at all. They need Lecro to show up, and Cold0, obviously, I think he's the post-plant king of all of Counter-Strike. He's always getting multi-frags when the bomb's down, and he's excellent at being patient and retaking sites.
Yeah, that's one of the things that these guys over the years have always had, is that they're always so calm in retakes. When most people would panic, the Brazilians over time have always been really calm and just chilled.
And now quickly, while this veto does begin between MiBR and NIP, a crucial one at that, you said there was potential for curveballs. What was it?
It meant that they would have to maybe float their permabans, but it looks like MiBR's just got rid of Nuke, which is definitely not a map they want to play. Dust2 going for NIP. The other options there could have been if they wanted to ban out something like
Inferno.
Yeah, and that could have forced the hand of MiBR, but it feels like MiBR should pick Cache, and NIP, based off recent results, will most likely pick Overpass. I think they're either 7-0 or 8-0 on that map at the moment.
I do think there's a chance MiBR picks Inferno here, though, because they... Oh,
there it is.
You're right. So Cache coming out of MiBR, that's a really good pick for them because NIP, this version of NIP, hasn't really played much Cache. I mean, they are known for that in the past.
They're 1-2. They've one win, 2 losses at the moment. So
Since they existed.
Since this
That's
5-man.
crazy. 4
They
games
didn't
of
pick
Cache.
Overpass.
They didn't take Overpass. They're giving MiBR Mirage.
That is a shocking pick out of NIP right there because MiBR, they don't play Overpass like the old iterations of the SK lineup, and they've looked uncomfortable at times with Stewie and Tarek in the B bomb site.
Okay, well, bye-bye Inferno, so we won't be
the
having the third map of Inferno.
Train or Overpass. So the question
Overpass
mark is
third?
here. Well, I think it'll probably be, I was going to say I think it was going to be Train because, like Sean just stated, MiBR aren't the gods they used to be on Overpass, right? They haven't made that work, and that could be something to do with maybe the communication. We just said it's fine, but Overpass is one with that Link player on the CT side being hugely influential, and there's a lot of mid-round decisions needing to be made. Train is similar, but you can get a lot more map territory on the T side. It's not as long rotations, not as, I guess, funky fakes coming out.
We haven't seen Cache from MiBR yet, so it's going to be interesting to see what that looks like coming into the London FACEIT Major, as do your casters. They're joining us for our prediction segment, as we're going to be talking about this one. It's the lovely Henry G and Sadakist who are going to be the voices filling your ears for this hyped affair. Gentlemen, we just outlined it's pretty much a 50-50. Give me your thought process. What's bringing you that prediction?
My heart, Alex.
I knew it. I knew he was going to say that.
I should have known.
It's got to be NIP for me. MiBR on the ropes.
plot.
They're looking weak. It's going to happen today. We're going to have some Swedes in the arena. It's happening.
Well, I tend to think with a different part of my anatomy, and I think that this is going to be some very sexy Counter-Strike, so I'm also going with NIP.
Okay, good
wow.
lad. Okay, 2 for NIP. That leaves us, gentlemen. Now, I was burned last time I predicted MiBR.
Yes.
As burned as you can be, both figuratively and on Twitter, a little literally. So, Sean, what have you got for me?
I'm going to go MiBR. They can't show what they did yesterday. I mean, I think they won the veto.
Yeah,
I
me
do
too.
think they won the veto. I thought they were going to lose the veto, but they ended up coming out on top.
No overpass from NIP.
I have the same rationale. They've definitely blasted this veto out of the ballpark.
Okay.
Just on you, Alex.
Yeah, I think I'm also going to be flying that MiBR flag.
Boring.
I know, how dare I. But the caster desk and the analyst desk is split, and we're going to split and leave it with you guys.
Thank you very much. Cache kicked things off. NIP's old stomping ground, not so much anymore. Haven't seen much from MiBR.
There should be a drinking game that every time Chad says cache during the major, you've got to take a drink.
Oh,
Just,
apple juice. just
Apple
to be clear.
juice or coffee.
Or coffee.
What's wrong with
That's
coffee?
fine. Instead, is it? Or
Alright.
coffee. So here we go, Cache. I don't really know what to expect from MiBR on this one. It's going to be interesting. NIP definitely capable of playing it, but seem to have shied away the last few months. It was their 20-0 streak at one point. Haven't really seen that for a while. That was back when Exist was in-game leading. Can Lecro replicate the form? Time will tell.
Well, absolutely. I mean, this was a map that also brought them occasional heartbreak.
Yes, indeed.
Let's not forget about that. The Vega Squadron 16-2 comes to mind at E-League. I guess a year and a half ago now. It's quite a while ago. But even still, it was always this, they're amazing on it, and then the important games they lose. So if that still rings true in this situation, in the narrative, in the simulation, if Anders has his way, then maybe they have that same problem again today. Now, MiBR, keep in mind, as well, coming off of that 16-0 loss, unbelievably, in a major on Dust2. Second time, by the way, they've lost 16-0 on Dust2. The other one was online with Showtime, so not really the same thing, not at a major. But they're going to be invigorated. I think that might actually make them a little bit angry.
I caught up with Stewie last night. He's just like, well, when you get 16-0, it doesn't really matter. It's actually not as heartbreaking when you get like a double overtime loss, for example. That can be a lot more difficult to digest. He seemed quite jovial about the whole thing. He's like, it was just a bad day. We can pick it back up. Like, a loss is a loss. Doesn't matter what the scoreline is, really.
And a loss is a loss, and it also doesn't matter once you hit the playoffs. Right?
Exactly.
Reset it, win this game, get into the
Indeed.
top 8, and you're as good as good as new, as fresh as a daisy. You can be as fresh as a daisy. Go to faceit.com/premium pass and get exactly that, the Twitch Premium Pass. It's something different for this major, obviously. You can check out every POV from every individual player in accordance to their number on the minimap. So it's pretty straightforward. You just go to twitch.tv/FACEIT Major Premium _ and the number. But again, go to faceitmajor.com/premium pass. $10, one-time subscription. Lots of cool features beyond what I've just told you. We're going to get into the pistol. Tarek's going to start things off toward the checker room, and he's going to have pressure almost immediately. Cold Zero still on top of the platform in the site. Will also have to respond. He'll swing out. Tarek manages to hold off the vent, but then gets trapped inside of checker. They can go directly toward him, so it still sits to a 3-on-3 as Fallen attempts the retake.
Problematic 3-on-3, I have to say, for MiBR. They do have the kit and a smoke, but the bomb down, and you can see NIP setting up the turrets here on each of the key points of the bomb site. Forest will be patrolling towards the vent and checkers. There is a CT player in the form of Fallen waiting on the other side. That's the smoke deployed. It's actually quite a powerful one if you think about it. What can Forest really do now up to get right to fight up close with the Glock here, and he knows that the burst fire is pretty decent for him sometimes, and there you go. It is going to connect. Dennis will as well, and now it's Fur who's left in a pretty impossible situation. Forrest still in that smoke. That's so fun that he can just sit there the entire time. It actually worked out for him in the end. A nice little beast play coming in from NIP as they managed to trade frags initially on towards the bomb site there. 3 versus 3, and get right. I spoke to him about Glock burst fire about 2 days ago. I was outside and I said, I think burst fire is completely broken in CSGO, and he bit my head off straight away. No, it's not. People just don't know how to use it. I use it all the time, and it gets success. So,
do you remember when it was like the most overpowered thing in the game, though, in like 2012
when it first
came
out? The Glock, like I remember when I like casted games like 2013. You'd be like, well, it's a T-side pistol, so we'll probably call this a 1-0, and then see what happens in the second round.
That was the problem with it.
It was so ridiculous.
Exactly, that was the problem. It's not like it's one gun that was overpowered. It's the pistol, which meant the economy at the start of the game was like hugely outweighed.
Indeed.
I tend to agree with you. I think that there's more that can be done. I don't so much care about the Glock because I think that the single fire for most people seems to be sufficient. It's the FAMAS I'd like to see it improved on.
Yeah, absolutely. It was such an iconic way to use the weapon in 1.6 and Source, and it's kind of just been removed now. I haven't seen anyone attempt to burst fire on the FAMAS in CSGO, really. Either way, MiBR, of course, have 4 support here, as they've got the Deagle, CZ, the Scout for Tarek. MIP with the early lead here. Slow default. 3 rifles, always good to see. Have the UMP to carry the majority of the utility. One thing we've always said about NIP, it's always been quite decent at these anti-force buy situations. Looks like they're triangulating towards the B side now. One player holding towards a storage. That's Lecro, just looking for any rotations. He'll hold towards middle now. It looks like a contact B play. This could be a little bit dicey with Tarek's scout lying in wait in towards CT spawn. There's a smoke though, through the window, and Tarek will have to reposition.
Good shot from the scout to get the first tag. Tarek does reposition. He also takes down Dennis. Cold getting the first kill and then the second assist. So Deagle, Scout combo. As Tarek's on 3, he still plays headshot position, tries to get another shot, and it's going very well for MiBR. It's suddenly down to just Lecro. Headshot still for Tarek. The 3 HP. He goes up. Fur comes back around from the vents, and that is a solid shutdown.
There it is. Fist bumps all round. Yanko seems to be pleased with that. 1-1. MiBR holding off the B. I'm not going to say execution. It was a contact play of 1 smoke. And then the Scout Deagle compilation of Tarek and Cold Zero there working out very efficiently. Great stuff. As we get into round number 3, the Deagles now for an IP. I'm not sure if they're force buying in response. Indeed, they are. 3 players at least. Get right with $600. And there it is. Down to 0. Goes for the utility instead of armor. As they are all fully invested now. Lots of proficient Deagle users on the NIP squad, so watch out for that. That's a good nade though. There's quite a lot of damage towards Dennis and Lecro at the start there. Attempt with the Deagle, ambitious. Looking for any sort of tags they can get here. Fallen not inside the mid-warehouse. X-Ray can be a little bit misleading. He's actually beneath the boost spot there. As Stewie opens things up. Nice shot towards Squeaky door to take down Reds. 5 versus 4. Fallen might want to think about falling back at this point, or at least call some backup, and indeed Fur will come towards the short box to back him up as Forrest looks to find the opening pick for the terrorist here.
Decent play from Fallen to catch out Forrest, getting on the boost, trying to sneak in toward mid. Dennis, meanwhile, Deagle goes back over toward A main. Bomb's going to head in that direction as well. From NIP's perspective, it looks to be an A hit with 55 seconds a smoke, a Molotov, and 2 flashes, they could isolate part of the site. The problem is with the smokes down, you're not really going to be expecting Fur to be up above on the catwalk, so he'll have vision either way. Stewie's already taken down Dennis as well. Dennis is not really able to do much in response. They've already thrown the smoke. Flash goes now. Molotov went, but they got countered. That bought a lot of space in exactly this. Even with the smoke out toward the highway, Fur's just standing up there waiting for them to enter.
Indeed he is. 2-1. MiBR looking confident there. And just now we'll have to be onto a full eco. One of these rounds where not really much to report or to hope for here for the Swedes. Just going to be maybe wasting time, basing on those grenades, trying to see if any mistakes are made, any impatient pushes, or they could just rush and get it over with. Either option is viable. Best of 3 series is what we get to for the last teams. Everyone has 2 and 2. IP started off 1-0, then started slipping away, finding himself looking for the very last slot here in the playoffs. Didn't make it to the last couple of majors. Now battling for the arena, so at least they're in an upward trajectory.
Yes.
Getting there.
Yeah, there's no denying that, and it's important for them. Lekro in-game leading as well. That's not something, given his quiet nature, that I would have pegged him for, but I guess you could say the same about Exist. If he weren't already an in-game leader, would I really expect his personality to lead? They're actually kind of similar in some ways, but a newer,
I think
less
they were
experienced player.
Looking for someone who hadn't been tainted by like 1.6 or other games ways, like a CSGO player, a young brain, let's try something new here. I think that must have been the rationale behind it. And it seems to be working. It's the best looking NIP we've seen in around a year or so, so let's see what they can bring together. And like I said, there were 2 options here, either just rush and get it over with or take it slow and attempt to run boost, but Tarek now going to feast on the bodies of the ninjas there. He only gets 2. Definitely was on for a couple more there. coldzera actually goes down as well. This is a little bit sloppy now, so you can see definitely worth going slow sometimes and catching them off, as they do find 2 kills. Better than nothing. Keeps the CTs modest.
Lekro knew instantly that someone would be coming through the vents. If he had actually landed that shot on Cold, it could have gotten very hairy. But now it's 3-1 for MiBR. NIP back to guns. They'll have 5 AK-47s, no AWP. Not that they really have a primary opper. Sort of the last of the hybrid teams in that sense. Double op on the other side. coldzera is going to pick one up.
Yeah, he's very good with it. So the double up setup, quite idyllic for MiBR here. coldzera makes his way towards the back of B. Are they going for the old classic boost? I don't think they are. So, oh, maybe they are. Can see it happening. This is a blast from the past. See if it actually equates to a kill. I don't think so. You can see 3 players from NIP waiting to go out the squeaky door here. They will be committing to that. It's a bit of a B bait from those 2 players towards the B storage. The bomb is there at squeaky. They're hoping to pull a rotation off from A. You can see Stewie's actually quite isolated, only Fur to back him up. So once Lekro and GetRight feel like they've done enough, and they've maybe got a trade towards this side of the map, that will be the cue to go out squeaky door. So keep your eyes on the mini-map when they commit.
They're actually behind box with no one toward generator, which exactly that. GetRight catches Tarek before he gets the headshot, doesn't have the coverage, and that is your bait, that is your rotation, because a single kill, they have to get support toward the AWP, which now is fighting a much closer battle than originally as the boost, originally as the entry. Stewie, good anticipation on the door, heard it open, goes out, finds one player still lurking inside of it, and they haven't planted the ball. Molotov thrown. This is a bit of a sticky situation. They should have potentially already been on that plant, nearly get pushed off the bomb altogether. Dennis now gets the kill in return on the site, but hasn't got time to put it down. He's now in a 1 versus 3, and very tedious and timid because he has no idea as to how close and how much threat he's under. So he'll take the 29 seconds that he has rather than try and plant the bomb, and spots one towards Z Connector. Can't get the kill. Good damage. It's a second information as to that the fact they're at truck. He knows now he does have the time, but Bates instead wants to try and get kills.
Could have got that plan down and got a bit of extra cash. You actually would have helped them out get a buy, I would say. Up to try and take Fallen down, and I have to say it's all about Stewie. Absolutely. Great job by coldzera to find the really important kill that side of the map, but Stewie positions correctly. He hears them coming. He throws a really intelligent incendiary there, baits them out, and denies a plan for the longest amount of time. They don't even get it down. So it was a very good attempt from NIP. You can't really fault their approach towards the B bomb site, get the kill, pull the rotation, but it just wasn't quite enough there, I'm afraid. And it will be 4-1 in favor of MiBR. 16-0'd yesterday. quite the sight. So for Fur and Co look a lot more poised today. Nice opening pick there from Fur. Just the deagles and armor for NIP. Loss bonus starting to rack up at this point. 4 rounds against them. They'll have maximum going into that next round. Objective from MiBR. Keep it clean. No one has to overcommit. Not looking for the frag movie highlight clips just yet. Just want to be holding up. Keep 5 alive. Now you've got the advantage. Don't even have to challenge middle. Let them have it. It's not a bomb site. As long as you've got the sites covered, you know they've got pistols. A lack of utility. There's not really much they can do to punish you.
Stewie will look to mid. Can't quite spot the head behind the hut, and not yet inside event for NIP. With Lekro gone, they have to slow down further with the pistols. Skylight blown out, immediate smoke on top of it. Cold will now be ready to fight. More so, they've got Tarek hugging the right side behind the boxes. That'll leave him inside of the smoke. Some potential to catch them in transition toward the site. So bomb plant, not necessarily even possible. And with Cold taking down Get Right, that slows it further. It throws the bomb to Small Pit, which is out of the way of where they want it to go. Dennis will get it back, but Cold has him too. Pretty straightforward.
Mission accomplished. No one goes down the CT side. The money begins to swell. Fur with $11,000 in the bank. That's not bad at all. On the CT side especially. I would say Cash is considered quite a T-sided map at this level. The percentages don't really suggest that. That's my opinion when I watch this level of CS for so long. It just feels like the T-side in the current meta is a little bit more powerful. But NIP now fully equipped for the first time, apart from Forest, who doesn't have the helmet. It's a bit of an issue against those M4s available. So what kind of approach got in mind. Maybe a set piece needs to be deployed in this sort of post-plant situation as Fur looks to boost up his teammates. That's going to be Stewie 2K. He's had a lot of this boost in this major so far when Cash has been played. The couple of times it has been. But very powerful position. We saw Issa raining down hell from there before. Wallbang attempt from Rez. You can see the bomb still down around T-spawns. They're not really going to be committing towards A just yet. Just going through their default right now. AWP of Forest. Been given the task to look for any CT aggression. He's not necessarily challenging choke points right now. He's just watching A main. A common position for CTs to push, but Stewie, like we said, with that Shroud boost, he'll be happy to stay there. Cold Zero, the flash attempt towards B. I'm not sure that was quite deep enough. Fallen his AWP towards middle, about to get some action, it seems. Not if Tarek can beat him to it. Lovely wombo combo here from the CTs. NIP just get completely dismembered as they make their way towards the mid area.
Super flat, not able to establish any early round control, map or manpower.
Forest is done for.
Neat shell. Stewie tries to fire into it, falls off, shuts the door, so he's not quite dead, but certainly found out. In the flank as well. Not pushing because they don't need to. Tarek doesn't need to overextend, but all he's doing is sitting back to make sure that they cannot rotate back to B, which allows his teammates to get aggressive directly in front of Forest, and they certainly do.
Well, talk about being painted into a corner. Good lord. 40 players jump through the smoke at the same time. 6-1 NIP. Indeed, very flat. That mid-take was pretty poor. Didn't really seem to be challenged at all there, the CTs. They were running out one by one. The fact that Fallen can survive behind the sandbags and find kills, and his teammates can look very comfortable segregated behind smokes, that's a bit of an issue. Has to be another partial buy here for NIP. CZ, smokes, a few flashbangs as we get into round number 8 here. CZs make their way towards Squeaky, but you can see Fur and Stewie on this side of the map, but maybe a bit of missed timing here. Forest will strike first, but Fallen protects Stewie there. Great teamwork coming in, and that should be the round secure. We'll see if there's any more kills available. Rez with a nice spot here. He could be the savior. Can't get to, runs out of ammo, but still a winnable situation now for NIP.
It certainly is, and finally is, we should say. Dennis still with the pistol. He'll sit on top of the bomb directly, but more importantly, Lekro has armor to go along with his AK. Cold and Tarek, they'll work together. They're both coming in from truck. They're taking their time for now. They want to use utility to try and push anyone out of position. In fact, they'll clear off both a main by way of a smoke and the forklift by a Molotov, which means they can immediately look left when they get in the site. They've already cleared 2 of the points that can easily catch them off. In a crossfire, Lekro gets one, only one. Dennis now with the pistol and manages to make it work. I wasn't sure he had an idea of where Cold went. I think he was expecting him to appear on the left.
Well, time was ticking away. coldzera and his AWP pushes forward. Comes down to the pistol maestro, Dennis, to pick up that second round. CZ's doing a great job there. Lekro just had to get that one kill. Luckily, last bullet collected before coldzera could take off his head. And there we have it. Still plenty of money here for MiBR, of course. Like we said, had so much cash, even has $8,800 even after the reinvestment. Tarek not yet purchased. Might go for the secondary orb once again. We'll see whether they want to do it. It's a tactical timeout from NIP this time.
Well, they need it, right? I mean, no one, I shouldn't say no, excuse me. Pretty much no one. One player survives and it's a reset. I mean, it's
sure,
6 rounds in a row.
But it was an eco before, a partial buy. It's not completely destroyed. You can see Forest still have 3K, I think, after the investment. But yes, definitely reset potential there. They want to discuss what they can do with this, how they avoid it. Do they go for the set piece off the bat now? A bomb site seemed to be working for them that particular round. Lekro throws away a flash just so he can buy a smoke or an incendiary. Or Molotov, I should say.
Same difference. Quick nade out to see if anyone was up close. Wanting to push A main, no one was. Cold, meanwhile, boosted in the vents. We've yet to see this approach from MiBR and holding middle. It's not an uncommon one, but it's nice to throw in every now and then. See if utility gets used if they want to take mid to try and clear that off, as is also fairly typical. Forest just waiting with the op to see if anyone's going to push through, is not aware that Fallen has, so it's op versus op inside A main. Smoke dividing them, but who's going to find first? I think it's going to be Fallen because Forest is just off the angle. Fallen fires but gets away. Forest tried to guess where he was inside of the smoke on his retreat. No harm, no foul on either side.
Hitting the 1 minute mark, you can see them in another pretty static default right now. No one really pushing the envelope on any part of the map there. Rez, another wallbang attempt, actually quite a viable one. We've seen plenty of kills from that position. Lekro looks for the counter boost towards middle. 45 seconds now. As the bomb's still down towards our mid warehouse, GetRight will be the one boosted up. He's got a Molotov in front of himself to clear out the close range encounters and push any CTs back. You can see now, aware of Fallen's previous position, going to be Molotoving towards sandbags.
And the third Molotov. That's the essential Molotovs for mid right there. Cold's out of the vent. They've pushed everyone else back. They have mid.
Well, they've got mid control now, but 25 seconds. They're going to have to pounce towards A here.
The reboost is huge too, because if they pounce toward A, Cold's going to be all over them on the flank immediately. GetRight, he's just barely going to tuck to the wall and be out of the line of sight from Cold, but he's still going to be hunting them down. Gets in behind, GetRight never had a chance. And on top of the site, Lekro does at least get Fallen, which will allow the bomb plan, but a 2-on-2, great hold from Forest, because during that plant, they easily could have gotten closer. Cold's on 9 HP, Forest on the AWP is not much better off on 13. He's in the smoke. Who's going to spot the other first? Great read from Forest. And opt to win it out that close together with smoke down. That's an impressive shot.
Yeah, that's more like it. Forest willing to take the duel there as well. In the smoke, it looked like coldzera had outpositioned him, but he flicks up, takes him down. Knew he had to operate quickly there. Couldn't sit in the same position. They knew exactly where he was after this shot. Forest then moves out, looking towards that ladder position. Takes him down. 2 in a row for NIP. They avoid the reset and start to whittle down the economy of MiBR now, as they only have the single AWP 4 M4s. They do have kits. It's still a full, healthy buy, but the residual cash is starting to be reduced dramatically. So there we go, 6-3. GetRight back towards B, spamming the smoke for any CT pushes.
Just to note as well, when he fired at that window, it's relatively minor, but for newer players, he was actually penetrating through that and breaking out the skylight ahead of time too.
Yes.
Just gives them options later so that it's broken out ahead of time and they won't telegraph it if it breaks later that they want to smoke through it, so just a standard thing. Big round from Forest, as you say, avoiding the reset. Their money's still not great because it was 2 1-on-1s, essentially.
Yep.
But they've definitely given themselves a fighting chance, and they're starting, as you said, whittle down MiBR. Push up toward long. Rez has actually conceded that, doesn't want to challenge.
Yeah, Stewie's in squeaky door now. So he's got that locked down. He doesn't have to push any further, really, until they start feeling like it's going to be a B-side attack. Rez will boost teammate Lekro up. Bomb still down. Bolster their defenses towards B. Tarek rotates back in to help coldzera here. With Stewie's information gathered, the squeaky's clear. He's going to push a little bit further as well. Fallen even comes in to back them up. They've got a good read that it's going to be a B-side.
That's kind of why I'm surprised Rez didn't challenge that. It was like he knew that they were there. He heard the door and he backed off. But he just gave them that map control. Fallen back out, close range, good from Get Right. Crosshair placement on, just had to click mouse 1. He's done that twice to coldzera the second, but he gets taken down in return. It's Tarek with 2 kills before Forrest finds him. It does lead to a 1-man advantage. NIP entering the site. Fur, gap in the smoke as it dissolves, can't spot anyone. All 3 are on the platform, so this is a buddy system if ever.
Stewie's got flashes. He could flash through the skylight potentially and get maybe Fur in a position. Doesn't look like he wants to opt for that. So what's the play here? How do they pincer this efficiently?
Exit kills. If they're all on top of the site, I mean, both teams are about to lose money. Give it a go if you can get the opening kill, but if you take everyone down from NIP, it's still going to keep them super honest in the long term. They're going to go. The longer this ticks on for, the more likeliness that bomb does blow up. It is on to Fur. Last alive, 1 versus 2. Tries to find both, can't. Forrest gets the kill in time, then I think everyone will survive, or the other 2, I should say, will survive. And 3 rounds in a row from NIP.
Indeed it is. And MiBR now might take a pause themselves. Money not amazing. Yanko trying to keep the morale up. That was the moment for me. I'm not sure my ball had stuck around there so long. He really could have fallen back, and he heard them there on the other side. He's going to be so dicey trying to challenge such a close range, and to be fair, that's normally what he's so good at, so you can't be too mad about it. So like I said, timeout here for MiBR. A chance for the coach to chime in and give advice on the financial situations right now, what they should do. You can see the money's okay, certainly not amazing. Tarek could drop a FAMAS and get them for himself. Stewie can buy for himself. The other 2 guys might be struggling there, but we'll see what happens. Maybe a partial buy is in order. They still have a lead for now. Fallen's been given the AWP. So what's the play here? Looks like they're not going to fully invest. They've bought the AWP. This is a mouse sports sort of play, reminiscent of their style, and Oscar does this on the CT side to get dropped the AWP by a player that has a little bit more cash than everyone else. And then the idea is to save the AWP, but maybe get an opening pick like that, and you can start funneling the terrorists to where you want them to go, where you've got the pistol stack on the other side of the map.
Too easy. And it just walks out. They'll certainly be aware of the AWP now. But as you say, opening pick, that's huge. You start to really dictate the pace of the rounds. Rez will sneak up middle. Stewie's made noise on the other side of the white box, throwing a flash as well, just a pistol. If Rez really wanted to, he could chase him down. He's going to be still just in the open. Oh, that's beautiful. Told you we were going to see some sexy Counter-Strike, Henry.
Not bad. I can do that. Fallen, that's not as sexy. The miss comes through. It was a nice position,
Leave the
to be
lights
fair.
off.
As challenges the Deagle, that's going to be the hopes and dreams of that opening pick from Fallen. Falling by the wayside, I would say, because there's not really much they can do at this point. coldzera and Tarek. Deagle, one of which has no armor. They've lost the AWP. Might as well look for some exit kills here. Rez has been tagged down to just 10 points of health, but I'm not sure they'll find him. It's a good position from Rez. Might be traded out here. coldzera, of course he does. Looking for one more. Get Right needs to be careful. He's no stranger with that Desert Eagle. So they're waiting. Looking to see if anyone will give him another opportunity with the Desert Eagle. Looking for the one-taps. It's Lecro in the end. Took a few more than one, but still causing damage here. They might just leave him be at this point. How much damage is he going to do? How is he still alive? Finally, they deal with him. And there will be a few rounds in a row now for NIP. 4 to be exact. Recovering. I wasn't sure if they were going to. Seen NIP fall apart at the seams after losing a few rounds, but this is much better. Forrest saved the day with the AWP. And it seemed to have lit the fire beneath the Ninjas as they look very good.
And this came off of, the first round didn't, but the next 3 came off of a timeout. And I have to point that out because whatever adjustment they've made is obviously yielding them rounds, but more so the fact that they are yielding rounds out of what was super unconvincing and the ones that they lost is impressive. It's not like they were close in the others and now it's just finally going their way with some lucky breaks. They weren't even in the other rounds, so this is much, much better from NIP. Forrest on the AWP has certainly been a benefit, but this time it's going to be Lecro. B-side bias. Get Right. Great play. Tarek pushed up middle to get in the vent, so it wasn't even blown out, and still he had the presence of mind to check it because they had no other presence inside of middle from the NIP side. Get Right continues with good form to find coldzera as well. Chris certainly wanting to get back into that top 8 position. They have the B site. It's a save from MiBR. This is a 6-6 game.
Definitely is. Nice execution there. He saw all the fire on the side. CTs had to just drop off the platform, get picked off by those AKs. Great stuff from Get Right. He's actually looked pretty sharp towards that B-bomb site. 5 versus 3, guaranteed save and round, as NIP will be hunting at this point. Forrest actually going towards Squeaky Door. He's got the most chance of actually finding any of these remaining CTs. This Get Right actually with his third, not bad. Enjoying his performance so far. Always good to see him post big numbers. Finally will go down, but Forrest looking to execute the final few players here. Fallen holds towards the CT truck, but he is getting isolated. I'm not sure they'll find him though. He's all around him, but looks like he's going to be absolutely fine. Misses the shot. Actually does not. I think he legged him.
Did hit the leg.
Well, there we go. Get Right gets a well-deserved pat on the shoulder there from Peter. As there we go. He's always been working towards B, but before, well, I guess NIP from 6 months ago, he would never really probe for kills. He'd just be holding for any pushes. He seems like he's got his confidence back in those sort of roles, and to actually challenge for some kills and actually hitting the shots. So that's good to see.
It's good to see him. Yeah, more so that like. The typical Get Right we're used to seeing is doing that on the offsite after the take's already happened. It's nice to see him taking the helm on the same side. It's less predictable.
Sure, that's true. Just to note, there's a counter boost there. Well, just a boost in general above the smoke from MiBR. It's a very standard smoke thrown towards connector. If you have an AWP, like Fallen does, jump up behind it and see if any fast players go towards middle on the boost position. But it looks like another ace out attack here from NIP. They really are running away. One of the last few rounds, Fallen misses the shot. Remember, they have not bought into this pistols and the saved AWP from the previous round. Nothing connecting for him just yet as they get ready to commit. They might be baiting out a reaction at this point. They still have a couple of smokes remaining, and they're going to fall back, so indeed they are.
Fallen waiting for this. He's checking the drop, but not the top side of it. Part of the reason that little garage, aside from being able to walk down it in middle for whatever strategy you choose, is so interesting because it covers off that position and he catches out Dennis eventually, continuing to shoulder peek it. So Fallen getting the opening kill yet again, the second time he has done so with the solo AWP. Let's get Stewie back. They didn't win the last round either, and Fallen went down after finding the opening pick when he rotated toward A main. This time they're already out of A main. He won't get that chance. Cold Zira is going to take the bomb out of their hands. That now means Fallen can hold off from the truck. The smoke will dissipate before they're out of the open, and he may have a chance to contribute further. Not if Forrest and Get Right have anything to say. They'll converge and take down Fallen as well as Tarek and Cole. Bomb to be planted. Actually, excuse me. Round already done. I thought there was still one in rotation. Henry, I lost track for a moment. It was so quick.
It's all good. It was quite a chaotic moment there, but NIP look poised. They're actually winning rounds, even when things start to fall apart. They're holding their nerve. No one's making any rash decisions, as that doesn't even matter to lose 3 players. We're coming to round number 14. They've all got plenty of cash here for us, 8K on him. They're going to have money, and so it's not a huge deal here. Double AWP set up again for MiBR. Cold Zera, 14 kills to his name. And the nade goes through. That might be quite effective. Not quite, but the shots, they certainly are. Tarek through the smoke takes down Lekro. And he might find himself in a bit of trouble here. Takes a massive grenade, but it's Fur to get the second frag. Get Right goes down. And MiBR looking to tie things up here. We're going to have a close game on our hands as the smoke is deployed to extinguish the flames. With a 25, NIP will just slow things down at this point and see whether the AWP can pick up the pieces. Dennis to wield it.
So again, they take a lead, but with guns. 2 kills this time, none from the AWP. They've got a great situation in their hands. Bring this back to a tie game in round 14. Just to note as well, although it seems to have made less of a difference, Forrest will clear Fur out of position. Subsequently, he gets forced inside of middle. He knows that that came from bottom side of highway, so checks it, smokes himself off, and likely will retreat. Gets away as well. I say that we snapped away from it. Fur actually got back up inside. We saw the boost coming back in, so the secondary boost pays off and catches out Forrest, who thought that was clear. Rez, great shot in return, but Sui had already found Dennis as well. Rez, great shot on Fallen. Similar angle behind that forklift, which can be an awkward thing to fire at from time to time. Watch for Rez. This is incredible. 3rd headshot. Unfortunately, the ace was not quite there, but that was some damn good accuracy.
Yeah, well, that's what he's been known for. Just give him an AK, tell him what to do, and he'll find headshots. Rez can be a phenomenal aim star on his day.
Big win for MiBR, because the point I was starting to get to when the sort of action transpired in middle is in all the rounds that NIP won, there was only 1 round that MiBR saved, which at the start didn't matter because they won 6 rounds and they built up economy, but now toward the end of the half, it's really broken them down. So if they didn't win that, they would have been on a save or an ego, I guess you could say, playing for the end of it. Now they have a chance to actually go 8-7 up.
Absolutely right. Final round, who will take the slight lead going into that second half? Been a very back and forth game. MiBR came out of the trap hot. After winning the second round, ForceSpy managed to get a huge amount of rounds on the board, but then NIP helped himself to a few as well, courtesy of Forest's clutch. Stewie now heading towards middle, spotted by the AWP of Forest there, but will fall back. Lekro uses that Q to actually make his way towards short, finds an unsuspecting Fur, flashbang through. I think that'll be the Q to push the smoke and see what they can do towards CT. Spawnheads looking wonderful from NIP as they trade out kills and make their way towards the bomb site. Such good teamwork being deployed right now, and it's coldzera left in a 3 versus 1. AWP in hand, no kit, and a smoke to back him up. He has to go for a map, but it's very unlikely he wins it.
Very unlikely. He would benefit greatly from finding that early pick. The jumping. Rez behind the... Excuse me, Dennis behind the quad position. Cold, trying to bait out that he's gone up the ladder. There's an AK beside him, but he likes to stay with the AWP, perhaps because he knew he needed the precision to hit every shot, and the time was not in his favor. It does go 8-7, as I think was expected in that situation. For NIP, great recovery, because they were down 6-1 at a point.
They really were. NIP win the pistol, then lost 6 rounds in a row. Forest wins the clutch after a timeout, with his first showing of the AWP. All of a sudden, they build massive momentum. You can see NIP have rejuvenated their cache. They've got some faster approaches now. Their defaults are looking strong. Get Right looks like he's got his confidence back towards B storage. MiBR had some great moments as well, but couldn't handle the teamwork towards the end, and their money did start to get destroyed. Still anyone's game. The door is wide open. Remember, it's the final team to make it through to the Wembley Arena. Wouldn't have thought it'd be between these two, but it's been an interesting major, up and down for a lot of teams here. And MiBR receiving a 16-0 yesterday. If you didn't catch that one, it was very peculiar, but sometimes that's the way it goes. As we'll have 3 sets of armor here for the T side. No upgraded pistols. Couple of Molotovs. Interested to see what they do with those. Maybe flush out MBK and quad. Smoke in front of the bomb site. We'll see which way they're inclined. For now, all 5 players on the A side of the map. Just Fallen and Squeaky. 3 in A main, and coldzera watching the flanks. Dennis will be alone at A. There's the smoke on the site. Molotov towards Forklift. And maybe saving the other one for quad. There it is. Down it goes. Dennis now very good at the USP, but can't connect the first shot.
7 HP for Dennis. Has to fall back temporarily, allow NIP to rotate around. By design, they wanted to play the retake on A. It's Rez that has the kit as well. He has a smoke, too. Keep that in mind. So if this gets chaotic, and that smoke gets on the bomb, and he, or someone with that kit, is still alive, we could have a pretty interesting situation for NIP. Here we go. Fur's gotten the kill. Now, the benefit to this is Tarek Estate on top of the bomb. Dennis is gone. Tarek takes down both Lekro and Get Right, swings out. Looks like might get Forest, but he manages to survive long enough to get the shot of return. However, he's got 2 more to find, as he finds at least coldzera, but the other 2, too strong. Stewie 2K gets the kill, 8-8.
Valiant effort there from Forest, but perfectly executed strategy from MiBR. The Molotov, the smoke combo, the headshots especially from Tarek were enough to guarantee the round at this point. coldzera, that kill pretty much did it. Forest managed to get 1 back, but Stewie too sharp with the Glock. 8-8, we are all tied up. It's the first map of a best of 3. Throughout this section of the major, it's all been best of 1s. When it's all to play for, you're the 2-2 team. We changed to best of 3. Get Right with the scout. Not known to be a sniper, I'll say that much. Let's see what he can do with the lesser of the 2.
Cold Mac 10 does at least get to the sunroom. Rez won't exactly challenge that. Speaking of challenge, Dennis certainly was faced with one, with Fur sneaking up inside of middle. AK certainly poised, and clean kill. MiBR just needs to be careful at this point not to give away either of these next 2 rounds. Get that 3-0 start. Make this 10-8. See if they can hold on against NIP.
Oof, good shot by Tarek. Get Right scout. Won't be finding him many kills this particular round. Looking to save it at this point. Currently scoped towards the vents. connecting the shots. Very difficult ones, to be fair. We'll pick up the fall on CZ of Forest, I believe, as Rez holds on for any hunting players. Flashbang's good, but the shot with the CZ might be a little bit better here. If he gets another one, that's fantastic by him.
If he had more ammo, I dare say he would have got the third there as well, because it looked like the headshot was going to connect. Fur makes up for it, gets back in, finds Get Right, and MiBR do exactly that. Hold on at this point. They keep the AK as well, the only one that was in play. To some extent, you can, if you lose those SMGs, sure, they didn't get any return on investment for them, which is part of the intended goal. Yeah. But you're going to upgrade before you either go for the bonus or you're going to upgrade either way, so it's not a huge loss.
On the T side especially, it's fine. You're up against a full eco now. You're going to get more cash, and we'll see whether NIP want to go for any particular stack or a push, or just hold up. Grenades thrown towards highway. I think they made it themselves there. Can we get a replay of that potentially? I'm pretty sure that's what happened. I don't think CT bought any grenades. Anyway, it's fine. Just a bit of a awkward moment. They didn't really lead anywhere else. As we'll get into the next round, MiBR will have double digits first. NIP with just potentially rifles here. I don't think they can afford the AWP. They could, but it'd be glass cannon, no utility whatsoever. Mac 10, UMP. On the T side, tactical timeout from MiBR. So Yanko wants to get involved here and work out what's the play. They've got the pistol, they've got the SMGs, got that running gun potential unarmored heads as well. Rez is the only one actually. Money's not too weak for an IP. So what does Yanko come up with? Does he want to go for something fast-paced here, considering he has those lighter weapons available? If you can win this round, it's so beneficial. Not only do you get a ton of money in reserve, but you also
you break
send
them
the
down
CTs
again.
down to another eco after that, indeed.
Yep.
So what's the play?
And that as well is, especially when you have this T side, this opportunity to break them down with the SMGs, then you get an eco, another round, you can use them again and continue to build that cash. Pretty remarkable way to start a half. Dennis, box boost in A site will allow him to see inside of A main for anyone's helmet or dome that dare walk out. Not challenging there as of yet, but there is Stewie out toward the doorway with his Mac 10. Not uncommon, I think, especially from North American teams, if you want to talk about Tarek coming over to this squadron, but to play someone in that door, just hold it, wait, get information.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely, that's why Stewie will be right now, opens it up. He'll be trying to bait out some utility here. Looks like the execution with Stewie to come out squeaky door. So he needs all the smokes down, flashes. He thrives in chaos. He likes to get stuck in with the SMGs, got great mechanical movement skills. Smoke starting to be deployed. Here we go. Stewie not fully committing just yet. It's trying to make Lekro feel a little bit uncomfortable. Takes some bullets though. Smokes down on top of the bomb site to remove vision from everywhere. Dennis can't do anything. Lekro's getting Molotov here. Looks good for an MiBR. Can they find the first kill?
Oh, that was a beautiful flash. I'll come back to that because that was a huge detail in the take of the site. Great play for Forest. Looks above on the forklift, but they've already lost the bomb plant. That's happened already, and there's 2 players left against 4 of MiBR. We just talked about this. This would whittle the CTs down once again, and there's no kits. They've got to save. That flash was amazing. You said it. Oh, and this Cold Zero, he was waiting the whole time toward Useless to wait and see if he could lurk. They may not even get away with a gun here. But you said it. Stewie thrives on chaos. He opened the door. He baited out a bit of utility. Waited for all of the smokes to deploy before entering the site.
Indeed.
But the problem was he had to wait so long for them to come through him in. The smoke in front of the door was actually gone, and he was being stared at from Catwalk. Flash came in. Player on Cat can't see him. He runs around the corner, gets a kill in the Mac 10, and then in walks his teammates, and Fur gets 2 more. That was a beautifully timed flash.
Yeah, great strategy, good timings, and pretty much perfect there from MiBR. It has to be the eco. He did say if they could win that particular round, they would get a ton of money, as you can see, available to the T side here. And the CTs were left reeling as they are on around $3,000.
Just realize as a bullet goes through the wall and heads his direction that there's some challenge toward B, so he'll fire back into it, try and squander any aggression that these pistols of NIP will present. No stack, just to note. You could almost justify gambling on a stack right now if you're NIP.
Well, we know they're capable of winning with Deagles, CZs, PT50s. Couple of sets of armor there. I'm just going to look at the scoreboard while we're here. We have a few moments. Let's see if we can see any anomalies or interesting moments. Dennis, for me, he has the pressure of the in-game leader responsibility removed at this point. And he's still 6-16. He's supposed to be one of the absolute stars of this team, not putting his best foot forward in the initial map here. Haven't really mentioned his name at all yet so far while we've been casting this map. A bit of a shame. Thought he would really come into his own once Lekro took over. But either way, Tarek at the very top with Fur on 19 kills. The bottom has fallen with 10, so they're doing a good job of distributing the frags out evenly. Molotovs then again. Even though they're up against pistols, you want to use all your utility here. There's so much on the line, and these players are very capable of finding your head if you give them a chance. So Forrest will open things up, but Foreign doing a great job with Forrest's weapon, I believe, pushing forward, finding the kills required.
Awkward.
Yeah, it's fine though. Dennis unable to do much damage today. Only 2 go down. Considering the money they have, that's absolutely fine. Tarek with $12,000. Stewie and Fallen both in 5 digits as well, so that's absolutely fine. Round 21. And the orb comes out, this time in the hands of Lekro. It's quite reminiscent of NIP when they had Pitt in the lineup as well. It was Forrest orbing on the T side, and Pitt would take over the CT side. So that's what they're going for here as well. Lekro will open things up. Quite capable of the orb himself. Could be a change of pace from MiBR. Looks like a B split to me right off the bat. There's waiting in the storage area for any aggression with the CTs. Still struggling for cash. Lekro with 1 smoke. A couple of kits. Coming to the last few rounds here, it feels like. MiBR taking a firm lead.
Stewie not able to find Rez in time, so NIP finally holding firm, but Rez with 4 HP. That's all after the exchange. Meanwhile, it's Get Right in middle that's still peeking out and trying to get as much information as he dared. Doesn't want to overstep the mark, so he couldn't actually see toward the drop, and that means Fur is up on top of it and saw his foot, no question about it. So he's just holding at this point, waiting for Get Right to actually decide to go beyond the mark and get caught out by it, but he's going to take matters into his own hands. Sees him again. Now Get Right spotted him. Now he backs off. Self-preservation flash. There we go.
Well, Stewie's gone down. Rez feeling the burn. Like I said, B split was looking likely to me. It looks like that's where we'll end up. That's makes for CT. Forrest is waiting there with the counter flash. Rez might have to get out of there. The flame's a little bit too much. As they'll actually have an open sight, but Forrest waiting up towards him and can't connect the shots though. Get Right's doing a great job through the smoke. A ton of damage inflicted, and he's maintained the man advantage. Coming out to the 15-second mark, not close to the bomb site with the plant just yet. Coldzera makes the leap of faith and will be able to do just that right now. There it is. Not the best of plants, but he wants to guarantee it.
Get Right couldn't afford to respray on that either. 16 HP. Tracers on the M4A4. So the second smoke rules and renders him useless as the bomb does cross over. You're right, it was a leap of faith for good lurk in mid. Getting toward the vents would have been massive because the 2 players on top of the site wouldn't have had anywhere to go. Fur's enabled Cold to hold position. Good play from Lekro, but can't rebolt the op in time. And Cold manages the round for MiBR. Yet to turn around so far, NIP on this CT side. Now, they lost 6 rounds in a row on the T side as well.
Yes.
But CT side money is a more dire situation.
It really is, and they can't really buy here, Matt. This is do or die time for NIP. You take the Force buy, go with the FAMASes, a couple of M4s, maybe some UMPs, and try and battle? Or do you take the more conservative approach here and hold tight, get the pistols out, see if you can squeeze out a victory with Desert Eagles, CZs, they're all hovering around the 4K mark. No one really discussing too much there. They do have the timeout called. Forrest waiting for the orders. It looks like they will go with Deagles and armor here. 3 smokes. They will try and treat it like a usual gun round here. Lekro, Forrest and Get Right all on 20 frags, just to note that. get into round 22 now.
Fallen just watching this smoke for obvious reason. Wants to make sure if anyone pushes through, he's ready for them. But first, certainly he's ready for a push. He's gotten Lekro down at mid. So NIP on the back foot again already with the pistols. Molotov's going in, bouncing away from Rez, so he's able to safely get back inside of the confines of the site. Great shot, get right. CZ from Forklift, am I not mistaken? No, okay, he was actually sneaking in from long. Either way, well struck.
Just to know, my GUI is reversed. It's not NIP that 20 frags. It's Tarek, Fur, and Cold Zero. It's the other way around.
There you go. There's a command for that. I can't remember what it is.
I know, and I should be using it by now, but I don't know it either. So we're just going to continue like that didn't happen. Either way, 13-8, this is one of those rounds where you would think it might be going to run away with it, but the fact that Get Right has an AK now, the way he's been playing, there's a chance here. And Rez has looked pretty sharp in these sort of situations when he's got his back to the wall, only got a pistol in hand, and finding headshots, so why not? Keeps challenging and finding the kills. He has looked great in terms of the aim. This will be the first round NIP have picked up thanks to those deagles, so a lot on the line here.
Clever position from Rez to play. That seemed obvious. Just slightly off angle. Cold walks out. Tarek walks out. Forrest is gone. Beautiful shot with the AK. Rez now has to use that deagle aggressively because they know where he is this time. Get Right has gotten inside of the vent with the AK. It's a tough position to get out of, but he manages to get Fur first. So now all he really has to do when he drops in is check to his left. Fallen's vacated that. Actually gives him access, but it gives the op a much longer and more effective angle. Flash goes high. Molotov already came in. Tarek can't step beyond the box. They're going to hug the wall towards Small Pit, but Fallen is aware of that and all too easily collects Dennis. Get Right now has to do it all with just the AK. No kit. Keep in mind, he knows Fallen's on the left. Goes for him, and it doesn't even matter. Fallen brilliantly takes him down. 14 rounds MiBR.
He's so good in those close proximity sort of situations, Fallen. That's what I really noticed him way back in like Cologne 2015. It's like when he first started coming to the majors. I remember just watching him and thinking, how is anyone hitting those shots close range like he does? It's pretty mad. His awareness, his timings, his positioning. It's all quite beautiful when it comes together. 14-8. Fallen manages to negate the AK-47 of Get Right there. And it will be Rez and Lekro with the double orbs this time. You can see it's a bit odd for me. That's why I'm never a big fan of hybrid teams that like move the orb around. Forrest will be dropped straight away there, trying to have a clever little play through the smoke. Didn't work out for him. Fallen was ready and waiting. Get Right now in the vent. Is there any sort of reaction from the CTs here? It doesn't look like it. They are boosting one player up, I should say, though. Get Right towards middle. He'll have to go with some sort of play here. I don't think he can just rest on his laurels. Rez will miss the shot there. Difficult one, to be fair.
Forced down again. Nothing at all from NIP on the CT side. After such a great turnaround in the first half, I was really thinking that there would be a lot more on offer from NIP. But they've just never gotten control of the situation of the money, and MiBR continues to just run away with the half. We'll see if that happens again. With Forrest already down, it certainly could well do. Get Right waiting to see how much pressure will be applied toward middle. He's certainly aware that they're on top of the boost based on the trajectory of the nade that landed behind him, and that still isn't enough to take down Fur.
The timing was so brutal then. Get Right had his cross there, completely zoned in on the boost area. He drops it down for a second to check another angle. That's when Fur comes around the corner, of course, and it will be a 5 versus 3 looking for map point here. Remember, best of 3 for the first time today. Dennis is done for. He really has not looked his best. He's still on 6 and 20. I don't think he's got to kill this half map.
Check that within the UI, but Lekro quick enough to take down Tarek, but good luck surviving. He actually did get Stewie. Could have jumped away from Colt, but there was really nowhere further to run. MiBR's on map point, map 1. Remember, best of 3s today for these 2-2 games. So they still have a chance, but man, oh man, convincing, I have to say, from MiBR.
Yeah, well, with maximum loss bonus and a full investment in the previous, I think we know which way this one's going. NIP now needs 7 rounds in a row to force out overtime. We'll have FAMASes and a UMP there. There's only 1 kit available, and they're going to have to try their absolute best here to hold MiBR off. Definitely can be done. We've seen some pretty sensational comebacks, even in the previous matchup there. We saw FaZe manage to come back from like a 15-9 deficit, so it definitely can be done. It's just a long, grueling affair. As Rez will open things up, he's not giving up just yet, but maybe Electro is. He'll be dropped by Fallen. 4 versus Thor, but Dennis still there at the precipice of the A bomb site.
Dennis is going to try and time his peak to perfection from behind Fork. As soon as the door opens by Stewie. Mid battle's super important in this as well, because if you have 2 players on the site and they win that as well, it's basically a 4-on-2 to take the site and get the plant, which then relies on rotations. It would be Forest going down, meaning you're relying on just Rez to rotate, and that is exactly what has happened. They now control Highway. Fortunately, in all of that, Dennis did get a defensive kill directly on the A site, so it slows the takedown and allows Rez to adjust accordingly. Tarek now holding for a bit. Wait again for, looks like Stewie to get back to the door. Look how weak they are as well, though. Stewie on 24, Fur on 2. So now that NIP's rotated with 24 seconds, this is their best chance to win a round. Out wide. Forklift is awkward, but Dennis makes good on it, takes down Tarek. The last 2 players combined for a total of 18 HP, make that just 2 and just Fur. As he tries to do what he can, he'll get taken out by Get Right. 2 kills for him to close the round, and there we go. NIP finally gets on with 1 on the CT side.
Well, there we go. 15-9. NIP keep themselves in the game. Now 6 rounds in a row. AKs will be out in full force on the CT side. Rez and Dennis wielding those. Dennis actually gets 2 frags in that previous round, taking his total to 8. Get Right on the UMP for now. He's actually got 20 kills to his name. Good to see him performing well. They might not be able to win this map, but they're all having their own individual moments, especially Get Right looking more confident than ever. Takes a nade to the face. As it looks like that A execution could be coming in. Maybe more of a contact play here. Stewie alone and Squeaky Door once again. As I'll have 2 there. Oh my goodness, the timing is sublime. They'll push forward, and they've smoked off main entrance. This could actually all fall apart, though, as Fur will come barreling out of the main entrance, and now Dennis is isolated on the site. Get Right just to the UMP, holding short.
Yeah, tries to bait out the ladder as well. Get closer, sees them in the corner. They know they're going for a T-sided boost. There's 2 players there. They could do it. I think Tarek's just holding on for now. Get Right surely knows that there's 2 there. That player that high, it's not like they have stilts available to the T side in this game. Cold with 1. Get Right was waiting the whole time, did catch out Cold 0, but Fallen able to respond on the Dennis. It still remains in a 2 versus 2. That's going to change it. Bomb caught. Tarek on low HP and a smoke down that's now isolated. There's 55 seconds, and Fallen trying to go for that bomb gets caught out by Get Right. So that's well done, and you're right. The timing was great, but Get Right and NIP, they need a little bit of luck right now to get back into this.
Down but not out. Get Right and co fighting back admirably here as they refuse to give in. Fallen with the wallbang through the bombs. I didn't notice that. That's kind of insane. My God. All right then. You don't see that too often, let me tell you. Well, it wasn't enough.
If I'm not mistaken, that has to go through the strap, like the dark parts as well.
I'm not sure, to be honest. It's very rare to see.
Yeah, I've never even actually attempted that shot. Says enough about me.
Fair enough. Just to note, this is MiBR's pick, remember? And MIP actually picked up Mirage. That one's not so much a punish. Every team pretty much play that. But either way, 5 rounds in a row to go. NIP at least making this competitive now. Actually looking like they've woken up a little bit on the CT side. This will be the final buy from MiBR before they have taken eco. Let's see what they can do with it. Fallen has to go down to just the Galil. This might be the same execution towards the A side. Remember the one before? It had the smoke on top of the bomb site to block Dennis's position. One to the left of that. Molotovs on the sides. One at MBK, one at quad. Flash over, going together with Stewie alone at the door. There are those smokes again. Not the one on the side though. I think there might be a slight variation on that smoke miss on the bomb side. That's what they did before. We'll see how it transpires now. Molotov towards the forklift, and in they go.
Dennis waiting this time closer to the door, knows exactly what will transpire. Wait for the flash as well. Get Right already with 1. Stewie still manages to get Dennis. Fantastic shot of response from Lekro. Stewie still in this though, and he's stupendous as he finds a 3rd. It's Lekro down. Nade nearly gets him taken out. They'll Molotov off as well. He goes back for the bomb. He's looking for an ace against Rez and Forest, who are much healthier in this situation. 24 seconds. As soon as he commits to the plant, I imagine Forrest will take an approach to walk to the site. He wants the op, gets it, throws that gun a little far. Was that spotted from truck or not? He's going to get the bomb plant down. And backs off. Molotov won't quite catch him, but he's got to be very careful about his positioning because Rez is getting closer toward the wall. He's got the corner covered off. The second Rez goes out. Does he fire? Good. Little bait from the barrel, and Forrest fires back.
There we go then. Stewie 2K could have closed it out, but got completely destroyed by the utility. The HE in the pocket. The AWP picked up and then just completely isolated by the CTs. Great stuff from GetRight once again. You can see all the smokes. Very difficult to deal with, but they look calm. And they managed to keep their heads above water once again. Could we be looking for, I think, the 32nd overtime in the Major so far? Pretty unreal scenes. And it looks like it has to be the partial buy. MiBR now giving up 3 rounds in a row. Money definitely broken. It's actually looking possible now for NIP.
Yeah, overtimes have been fairly common.
Yes.
Throughout this entire Major. A little bit less so in the Legends. Well, I shouldn't say that. There was still quite a bit. Like Hellraiser's, played like 3 of them. Cloud9 played 3 of them.
We've had every series today go overtime. So
yeah,
this one would just make sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Anders, stop messing with the simulation. Does that mean dead? I haven't really been paying attention. Am I kicking a dead horse on that one?
In what, sorry?
Never mind.
Okay.
Lekro. That's unfortunate. Was sitting there with the op rather than firing into the smoke when he probably would have got one. Had to let them go by. Wow. GetRight certainly will not.
Good stuff.
Hat trick at the bottom of Highway. Den gets absolutely obliterated, but fair play. His job's done. Dennis and Lekro can clean it up. They'll do exactly that. 15-12. No bomb plant on that, which is also an important note, given that they are getting into a 4th round loss bonus. They did have one in the previous round, so there'll still be a healthy enough buy, but look, I just wanted to mention it, all right?
We'll see whether Fallen wants to bring out the AWP. 5K to his name. I would say probably not. Doesn't need it. Definitely capable of using the AK, but things now starting to fall apart slightly for the Made in Brazil squad. Fallen still thinking about his decision going forward. Lekro and GetRight operating at maximum capacity in the last few rounds. GetRight especially mowing them down. Looking like he brought his A game here. He said in the last game they played, when they dropped to 1 and 2, he said that he didn't practice the day before, and for this game especially, he's playing all the FPLs, all the deathmatch he possibly can. Feels like that's when he plays his absolute best, and you can see it working out quite nicely for him. It's the sharpest he's looked probably all tournament.
12,000 souvenirs dropped. Okay, so far, according to the counter, Forrest nades in. They'll stack those up to try and get some damage onto Fallen. He's a little bit too far away to take any from that, but Rez is going to push through. We haven't seen a push into B main yet. Fallen has been watching this smoke every single time, and that's what Rez did not know.
Indeed, it was Forrest who was taken down before. Rez, not scared of giving the round away. He wants to fight for those kills. Got to respect it. He does go down, though. 5 versus 4. Could this be the round that closes it out for MiBR? Cold Zera edges towards the bomb side, but he's going to be taken down. He's not going to check this. Oh, it's a shame. Such a common position as well. And down he goes, 4 on 4.
Forrest didn't exactly make that look super accurate, but it was far too easy anyway. There was no way he wasn't getting the kill. You're right. To not check that seems somewhat peculiar given the situation. Perhaps they thought Rez being so far forward would be the only real positioning they'd have toward the B site. Fur gets boosted up. He'll head over toward Cubby. Drop down. Highway next. 2-2 split. No mid presence at all from NIP. Which also means longer rotations, specifically from B to A, because the player at truck obviously can get to B a little more quickly. But they don't have anyone boosted in the vents to try and rotate in behind them and flank them out toward mid. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if one MiBR player here of the 3 that are in middle right now continues on and goes towards spawn. Spotted though. Dennis does see first. Stewie's going to do exactly that. Try and get in between the CTs. Good position from Fur. Gets in behind the ticket. Desperate is Forrest to try and, or excuse me, Dennis to try and get him down. Fur gets away with it, but look at the kills in response because they are in the back line. Somehow, no spray from Stewie. GetRight gets the kill, and that might be enough to keep NIP alive. 5 seconds, no plant, can't get to it. Round is over.
No money for Fur, as he'll hide in the corner now. Oh my goodness, Stewie had the game in his hands there. 2 players in front of him couldn't connect the dots with the AK-47. And NIP now brought it to 2. 15-13. Has to be the eco for one, I'd imagine, as well from MiBR. They need the money for the last round here. Great mental composure from the Ninjas, I have to say. Didn't think they had it in them. But now, with 5 rounds in a row, just 2 away, and this is a partial buy from MiBR. They got the CZs, Deagles, and an AK. Definitely still a powerful combination, don't get me wrong. They definitely are capable of winning these rounds, but NIP definitely have the advantage.
This is almost a repeat of the first half.
Yep.
MiBR get a massive slew of rounds. Looks like NIP has nothing in response, and then boom, suddenly it all, like the flick of a switch, changes directions. Lekr0, Dennis again. They'll shut down MiBR's take on the A site. AK still in play because Fallen was able to grab that after his teammate went down. He'll take a bit more damage from the flames. Has armor to work with, but only that 23 HP. As soon as Cold plants this bomb, it might be worth it to try and, never mind, transfer that AK over to him, but he'll stay on the Deagle. Knows that that AK is down behind him. If he finds 1 kill, he might be able to get toward it, but a 1 versus 5, that's a pretty sexy kill. Nearly got a chance for a second, but they were all on the corner, all firing at him as a squad, and it's now 1 round on round 30.
It is. I can't believe they did this after going down. What was that? 8-0 in the second half. They've now got 6 rounds in a row. Pretty remarkable. But remember, we discussed this, or at least the Des did. Sometimes getting it this close and then losing can be the worst way to do it. And instead of just taking the quick loss. So we'll see which way it ends up. NIP now 1 round away from overtime. The full reset here on Cash.
Astralis versus Liquid comes to mind.
Yes, indeed. Been plenty of games on Cash with Heartbreak.
That was on Inferno, mind you, sorry. But nonetheless, just that comeback from Astralis.
Oh, that one.
And
okay,
then,
sorry.
Yeah, in the 3-0 game when Liquid qualified. And Sean made that
that was when it was
ridiculous
13-2 in the first half.
Yeah.
And then they come back to overtime and then they win 19-15, yeah.
Yeah. So an op on either side. It's Lekr0 and Fallen. Let's get right gut. There's got to be, okay, there's a couple guns down. Including that of an auto sniper. I'm not sure if you... Was that not an auto sniper that I saw? I thought there was one in spawn. There is, so they've elected just not to use it. Maybe they'll pick that up for a certain situation. If they rotate back and there's smokes down, they could spam through with it, but... That or they decided against it. It doesn't matter because it's round 30. It's not like they wasted money. Get Right's going to hold toward middle. Smoke in front of him. He has to concede and rotate back off of it. I say he's going to rotate. He likes not to. He's actually just going to be patient. They don't want to give up mid too easily. MiBR has been fairly decent at getting toward mid. There's no question about that in this game. From Fallen. Dennis has a bit to work with in that and makes perfect on it. Fallen gone already. That's op down towards Squeaky. Here comes Fur again, though. He's been so good on Highway. Get Right's unaware that he's up that far. He's still watching toward the vents because he heard Tarek go that direction, and Rez forced out. Gets obliterated by him, but Get Right does go after Fur in the end. So still the advantage to NIP. Forrest left alone on B. Dennis has the bomb. Forrest doesn't have to do much. Just stay alive, stay efficient. They're going to boost back up because they need to get the bomb back from middle, and this is the quickest means of doing so, but 2 players left alive. That's it. Cold Zero somehow get. Dennis should have had that. He even panicked.
Yeah, it's sure. Oh, my God. Stop challenging him. 20 seconds. Cold Zero, give him an inch. He's going to take a mile, but luckily Lekr0's there to give them a huge advantage at this point. Bomb down, 10 seconds. We're going to overtime. Who would have thought? It took 7 rounds in a row after being 8-0 down in the second half. But NIP have brought it right back. Everything's reset at this point. Another overtime in the FACEIT Major. So every series today is at overtime. That's pretty remarkable. We stay on the same sides. NIP continue their CT campaign. Get Right in regulation got 31 frags. I haven't said that for a couple of years. Good stuff from him.
Yeah, and you said it. Looking more aggressive on actual site takes, playing with confidence, not just lurking and going for the off site. What I mean by that is if they're attacking A, he's at B, and vice versa, and catching kills on rotation, which is something that he certainly made a trademark for a long time. Keep in mind, it's Mirage and Train coming up. Train if required, obviously. No guarantee we get that far. I dare say NIP needs cash in this series. I think it'll be a fight on all 3 maps.
It will be.
But I think cash is the key.
Well, they've managed to give themselves a chance now. It was looking oh so bleak as a faster play towards middle comes in from MiBR here. The fast boost. Tarek there with the bomb just to know. Not the most intelligent place for it, but might want to throw that away. Still up there for now. That goes down. All of a sudden, it's given up towards middle. That's exactly what I mean. Well demonstrated, Forest.
And the bomb fell all the way down, too. They can't even get it by boosting.
That is an absolute nightmare. I couldn't even give you a reason why Tarek's got the bomb in that position. That's them not thinking.
That said, they don't keep a lot of pressure on middle, so they'll get that bomb back. But you're right, it does cost them a bit to do so. Smoke to the top of Red Box or behind it, and also the top of Highway now countered suggests to me exactly this, that they want to actually use Highway to open up the A site somewhat. There's no one inside of A main, so it would almost be a pick strategy at this point. But it also confirms to Fur that no one's around the corner and they can retreat safely with that bomb, which they've now done, and they've headed over toward the B site. Rez, he's going to be waiting behind the box, but forced out again. Tarek won that battle last time. It's Fur and Stewie instead that go through the vents. He's actually going to smoke himself off, keep himself alive. Molotov Stewie out, and Forrest is able to capitalize on that as a result. So very well designed play, or counterplay, I suppose you could say. Direct response to what was thrown his way. Now, they know he doesn't have a smoke this time. Second one surely has to move him out of that position, and it will, and Cold does get him. So 3 on 3. Fallen says otherwise and makes it 3 on 2. Dennis down in mid. Fallen top finally started to contribute yet again. 20 kills now in total for him.
Towards B they go. Forrest, though, can shut this all down. Timing, perfect. The spray, not quite. Definitely was on for 2 there. But now leaving Lecro in the very difficult situation. He'll have to throw away that orb for sure. Finds the M4A4 on the ground. Has got time to try and win this one. It's overtime. Finds a kill on the floor and incendiary. If he goes for the wall bang attempt, there's a chance. But no, repositioning for... puts himself into a safer position here. Incendiary on the side. Could actually flash fallen out, but all in the wrong ways possible.
Yeah, timing not there.
Yeah, well, there we go. Will be MiBR to find their first round after losing 7 in a row.
Isn't that always the way it goes, though?
Indeed.
Like, teams that have the comeback, it's seldom that they win the first round in overtime. And my theory to that is mental reset, one part of it, but also economy reset. Puts you back on a level footing. Now the question is, can NIP respond? Again, remember it is 10K, not 16K overtimes. Meaning that CT side, you lose twice, you're going to be in a pretty precarious position. Financially, as you can see, the money just disappeared, but it was $900 at best for Rez. There it is. Thank you, production. But Rez has the highest amount, it's only 3 digits.
Smokes out. MiBR now might fall back into that execution-based gameplay. It was working very well for them. Cold Zera and Fur looking likely to be boosted up here. Can even get 3 up there if you really want to sometimes.
3 is a crowd.
It is sometimes, but this is looking like the A split where 2 players focus heavily towards that high with the smoke usually landing at the top there by the ticket booth. I'll see if they're that way inclined. Actually, Fur drops down. And this could be another contact plate. Now Fallen to open things up, then they strike together. Stewie normally alone towards that squeaky door. This round is no different. Necro smoked off, but Flash is starting to be deployed now.
Dennis waiting. Still worked that fence to his advantage, but couldn't do so because there was 2 players facing him when he went out. 2 better than 1, as Stewie also gets get right, but 2 from Lecro and Forrest. Cold Zero does get 1 back bomb, gets planted. It could be back-to-back rounds, and that money gets brought into question. It's Lecro that wants to start moving closer with the AWP, but look at this positioning of Cold. No chance for Rez. Knew the whole time that Rez was still alive, and he is the B player. Stewie finds Lecro. It's 17-15. Clean sweep could be on the cards the first half of overtime. You need 19 to win out this game.
You do, and MiBR.
19 in the first overtime. You could get 19 in the second, you know, technicality. Sure.
I feel like Dennis had the right idea there. He looked like he wanted to shut the door and sit in front of it, get aggressive, then just got it towards MBK, which is just a pre-fire. I feel like he was doing very well, got flashed, had to go back to the compromised position, was looking for one, couldn't find it. It's been a slow game for him. Has got himself up to 14. But 2-0 down. And especially on the CT side map, it's 10k MR3, not 16k like it is in other tournaments. The Major is slightly different, meaning we have 3 rounds of play. You start with $10,000. That sounds like a lot, which it is. But if you lose the first round, the second round is certainly compromised, and the third is completely ruined. So MiBR, looking, they've got a bit of a gimme here. As you can see, CZs, Deagles, UMPs. A conversation to be had about overtimes, whether it should be 16k. It's got its flaws as well, certainly not perfect. Best thing to do is just win all the rounds. That's my advice. And you won't have to deal with it.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Kill all the bad guys, win all the rounds.
Yeah, then you won't have a problem.
For again, it's a highway. He's done this all game long. Get Right was ready for it. CZ gets the kill. Would
No
love
trade.
to have that AK, but yeah, no chance.
No trade, no flashbang. Pretty weak from Third, but still, Tara gets a kill and response eventually.
Rez forward of the box. UMP wants it to be close. Remember, he's pushed the smoke, but only once. Fallen was the man to get him down. This time he's not pushing the smoke. He's hoping that they're going to walk to him instead. Pre-scoped. He's cleared off all the other angles, so if he walked any further, I wouldn't be surprised to see Fallen's crosshair snap up to that right side just to be sure. Now he is on top of the box too, so a leg shot wouldn't do in that case. I said that. His angle now suggests otherwise. Gun barrel's going to show. Easy. Good response from Rez. AWP available. Rez is unfortunately over there by himself at this point with a UMP, so who would possibly pick up that AWP? It would be Lekro, but he's already on the rotation. He's already back toward the site. So too now is Forrest. Stewie, good spray down. Gets both of the players in A. Rotation is all that remains. Rez has swapped over to the AWP. He made that decision late, but Forrest starts the charge. He wants to go in and get the information for the ops. He's one behind quad. Flash out, decides he'll run. Get close, and close, nearly. Close as well on the kill, but not enough. 7 HP left for Stewie.
Not really much Rez can do with this one, Matt. 3-0, pretty much 100% confirmed. If he had the M4, I'd give him a fighting chance. He'll do whatever he can here, but as soon as he fires one shot at the AWP, that's when he's vulnerable. That's when you strike, especially when you've got the man advantage. And down he goes. Loser goes out of the tournament. Winner goes through to the SSE Wembley Arena. And it's looking like, at least in the first map, the MiBR have edged it. But there's no reason why NIP can't do the exact same back. We've seen plenty of scenarios where you go 3-0 up on the T side, especially, then it can all fall apart. Let's see what they've got in mind here. Yanko dishing out the orders there. Discussing their options. Now remember, with a 3-round buffer like this map, you might be feeling a little bit saucy, perhaps. Go for
I'm always feeling saucy.
The killing blow, perhaps. Go for like a rush on the CT side, send 3 players towards B storage. Something surprising, just the fact you've got a small buffer to work with and see what you can do with it. Like, it's a really exciting place to be as an in-game leader. It's like, I can experiment in this first round. I can try and close this out with something quite fascinating. But the T's have actually bought 2 AWPs at the beginning. Now, it was 10k.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one.
It's win or bust.
I guess you're probably right at that point. If you do lose a round, it doesn't matter. That was a very good point.
Lekro's already out toward him, and no utility at all thrown that direction as of yet.
So Get Right gives himself an AK as well. So he'll hold with the AWP at the very start, and then pick up the AK like he has now, and then go through his usual flight paths. So smoke in, flashbang through, wait for the reaction, shoot the window. You talked about that before. Then he'll head towards checkers eventually. Nothing too surprising just yet. There we go, bit of a play.
Solid play at that. Rez down again. That gives them control of long. We've seen them take a few rounds by doing so and also pushing forward to get the information. They won't go through this time. They actually fall back on it. Double up setup still in effect. They have already confirmed that Get Right was over toward B, so they knew that they were in their default. That actually might be something that they telegraphed that play off of. They said, all right, if Get Right's over toward B by himself, he's blown out the window, he's thrown the nades. Then the other part of their default is that they always have someone in squeaky, so they just say, all right, let's just 2 players push that. That tells us they're in the default setup, so
sure.
It's possible that they reacted strictly off of that.
Especially if you're aware of the tendencies of the other team. take that player down, you can get a lot of intel, not just from the kill, but yes, indeed from the setup. And it's going to be more of the same from Fer. Great timing. Could have got away, but he wants the 3-man spray down. He wants to guarantee this round, but still the job is not done just yet. 3 versus 1. Well, it is now. Stewie will close things out there. It was looking like a very convincing NIP victory at one point, but then MiBR turned it all around. It was very, very back and forth. We got to overtime somehow, and it is MiBR to have a perfect T side to kick things off, and then found the final round with a push towards Squeaky Door.
Perhaps it was foretold in that every half started with, aside from the pistol round, but it started with a massive slew of rounds for MiBR.
Yeah.
6 in a row, then 7 in a row, and into overtime 4 in a row. So it's the early parts of the halves that are the detriment of NIP. They fall slightly short at 19-15. Best of 3. They'll go on to Mirage next.
We're going to throw it over the studio to see what they made of that one. What a game it was. Chaps, over to you.
Thank you so much, Henry and Sadakis. Yes, we'll be back with them for the second map. But my goodness, this major comebacks and overtimes seems like quite the potent combination, and we've been getting a whole lot of them. It's fantastic. NIP managed to forge a spectacular comeback against MiBR, and only into overtime do they find their footing to close this one out. MiBR 1-0 up in the series. What do you make of that one, gents?
They had to have 2 surges in that game. It felt like it was over in the first couple of rounds because MiBR once again were looking clinical. Then you saw NIP just do some default rounds, really make them think and have a nice first half. Then we started off the second half, same situation. MiBR were looking hot, looked like they were going to close it 15-8. Come back, we go to overtime. So yeah. NIP definitely want to fight for this, and that's off the back of some vintage Get Right. He was looking hot, one of the hottest performances from him in a long time.
Yeah, he wanted this.
Get Right really impressed me throughout the entire match. Actually, on the opening half, he had 4 rounds where he got entry frags for NIP. I mean, you wouldn't typically think of Get Right as an entry fragger, but he's taken on this role in NIP, and he succeeded really well, actually, for them.
Not only the frags, but check out his multi-kill rounds. 10 multi-kill rounds, of course, pinch of salt, it's overtime, but also he won 8 of his 10 opening duels. This guy was not messing up. Didn't get him across the line, though, and of course, Dennis, he came into this one saying that he had a poor performance in Stockholm and wanted to do better. This time, not to be on cash.
It was a weird game, though, in the sense of this was the pick of MiBR, and on their T side, it looked, I really liked their executes. I was like, okay, cool, they've actually got some strats coming out here, and that's what we've seen throughout. But then when push comes to shove, because they're playing so rigid, the stars who normally like to thrive off of room and taking risks aren't allowed to do so. And you can see here that I just think that they're overcomplicating things in some situations.
Have you got some examples of that, perhaps, Chad?
No,
Smoke and mirrors?
I have something that I really liked from NIP. We can set that one up because this is why it's really important, ladies and gentlemen, everybody at home, to do defaults in Counter-Strike. You go send 1 player Squeaky, you do your normal B utility, and this is a round that they've done the default a couple of rounds and done really late round executes. Right now they're going to feign that, they're going to fake it. One player's going to go towards A main, spam some bullets, throw a flashbang, while everybody else is going to go behind the standard default smokes and flashes over towards B main just to get checkers control. Here they're going to set up for an execute, and because normally they've been doing something really slowly, they're going to do this quite quick. Gerard's going to walk into checkers, he's going to find this opening kill, that's the trigger, the Molotovs and flashes rain into the bomb site, and this change of pace is really something that caught the MiBR players off guard. In those normal rounds that we'd been seeing prior, they had been executing probably on about 30 to 40 seconds. Right. Here this was done within the first 20 seconds of the round, and that pace change really made Brazil off guard.
But what I want to understand, and of course, the MiBR did manage to close it out in the end, but there was a reason that comeback happened. Where did MiBR go, Sean? What did you think was the flaw in them not closing that out in regulation?
Like Chad said, they had a lot of different looks on their T side, actually. I have to give them credit. They had a lot of really cool executes, especially at the A bomb site. But they got to a point where they couldn't figure out how to play loose and have a default that allowed them to win rounds. They always had to do an execute. They always had to show something or win that round. And it wasn't until overtime, actually, where I feel like Stewie almost took over the game in the late rounds. And he came up huge with a lot of multi-kill rounds.
Yeah, up next is Mirage. What do we make of that one? I mean, that Cash was supposed to be MiBR's guaranteed win, right? That was what we framed it as. Didn't look like a guarantee at times, but that's now locked in. So with Mirage on the horizon, are we seeing 3, Chad?
This is a question because I don't feel like we've seen a lot of MiBR's Mirage since, the new addition and Yanko as the coach. So it depends on how much they've changed that look up. There is a lot of data, though, on NIP. So if they've done their homework and they look for a way to exploit this game plan, I want their CT sides to really take advantage of those opening moves that NIP do. The mid smokes where they're pushing Lekra up, going for frags. If they can counter that, I think MiBR can take this quite convincingly.
You feeling the same?
I agree, actually. I think Tarek is one of the best, or he was one of the best upper B players on Mirage. So that would slot in really well to this MiBR team. Stewie's used to playing the A bomb site. So I think everything really falls into place for them on their CT side Mirage. I'm really excited to see what they have to offer.
We did see NIP an awful lot on Mirage as the I just said it like you. Data you're referring to.
I say it both ways.
You just like to mix it up. Cache, whatever you want to call it. But it was Mousesports, Astralis, and Liquid. So they've played some top-tier oppositions on it. They got 2 wins out of 3 on this map so far. And Mirage is where NIP will put up their final stand. It is legends such as Forest and Get Right alongside the New Blood that'll be fighting for survival when we do get back into the action. But before we go, you guys know about these hotly anticipated profile films. They come almost every major, and they are going to be released on September 17th. They'll begin their release anyway. We're going to take a look at the lives of the likes of Rops, Shox, and this guy.
Esports isn't a joke anymore. There's thousands of people watching. I knew that I need to put everything into it. I stopped hanging out with my friends, and I just stayed on the computer day and night.
That's a B player. This guy plays A. This guy plays A.
When I fell in love with the game, I played more and more. It would go from 3 or 4 hours to 6, 7, 8 hours a day.
Break them now, we win the game. Let's go.
I want to progress fast as possible.